Hi Pisces, welcome to your love and romance reading for June 2022. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. A lot of people like to check out their Venus sign when it comes to love. This is a general reading. You might stumble upon it 6 months from now, 2 years from now. You're going to find it whenever you're meant to find it, whenever you're meant to hear the messages that are in it. These are general readings. Not every single message is going to resonate, but take what does, leave what doesn't, and we're going to go from there. So, here we are. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Love and romance. One more shuffle. Let's get right on into it, my dears. And we're going to move the camera just a little bit closer. So the first card coming up here for you all is the Seven of Swords. Pisces, okay. This can go a couple of different ways. Seven of Swords can sometimes come up when you're dealing with a sneaky person, someone who is seeing a way to benefit from you. They're trying to get clout, or they're trying to get into your pockets, or they're trying to get into your pants, trying to get into your pockets through your pants, whatever it might be. There could be some wowing you and dazzling you. Sometimes the Seven of Swords can be a very observant person and someone who's really good at reading people, and they may be using those powers for evil in figuring out what mask to put on to really impress you, to get you to like them, to get you to give them a chance. But they're doing it for the short term. It's like there's something from you they want, and so they're putting on this mask to get it from you, and then they're gonna be gone. It's a very self-serving, opportunistic kind of energy. So be very cautious and be very aware of anybody who just seems like everything you say, they're like, oh my God, me too. Oh my God, totally, right? Like sometimes they're just trying to mirror you back at them, or give you a sense or a feeling like we're so alike, we're so in tune. So give these connections time to see how they pan out. Give these relationships time to see how they develop, and for people to show their true character and their true colors. Also, be very aware, Pisces, of anybody who has had a very long time or plenty of opportunity to date you or to get to know you, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're showing interest. Because sometimes what can be happening is they see you healing, they see you growing, they see you improving, they may see that things are going better for you, and they're like, whoa, Pisces is about to come up. Let me slide in those DMs now. Let me get in there now, so that when the big break comes or the big success comes, then I'm like, whoa, well, Pisces, I've been your friend forever, right? We've been on social media. We've been friends for years. I was your friend. I've been reaching out to you. I've been hanging out with you. Like, I was with you before all this stuff came in. I'm not like all these other fake people who are being nice to you now that it's here. Meanwhile, they're just like those fake people. They just knew when to strike early. They just saw it coming and they got in early. So just be aware or cautious of anybody who's had plenty of time to be with you, but now that you're working on yourself and now that you're in a good place and things are happening for you, all of a sudden they want to be around you. All of a sudden they want to collaborate with you or date you or grab coffee or whatever it might be. So just be cautious. There may be some people who don't have the best motives. Some of you Pisces are feeling like it's time for a change. Maybe you may be feeling like it's time for a geographical change. Maybe you're kind of feeling like the circle that you're in right now is not aligned with what you want or what you're looking for in your life. or maybe you feel like you're living in an area or territory where the people, like, the mindset is not aligned with what you want and what you're looking for in your life. And so some of you may be planning a quiet exit. Seven of Swords can sometimes come up when we're kind of like, I don't want to say we're being sneaky, but we're kind of like quietly slinking away without attracting attention to ourselves. If you are a Pisces that is in a dangerous relationship, then the Seven of Swords is saying, look, lay low, do what you need to do, but don't attract attention to yourself. Okay, this is not going to be a mic drop moment for you where you're just going to tell that person off and be like, I'm done with you and you can't push me around and I'm not scared of you and I'm leaving you. And that's not going to be the best approach when the Seven of Swords comes up. Okay, so if you are in a dangerous relationship, you might need to leave quietly without drawing attention to yourself or telling anybody what's going on. I cannot stress this enough. I cannot emphasize this enough. Some of you have heard me tell the story of when I was younger and I was in my 20s, and my husband was a pretty dangerous guy and he was getting worse and worse and worse. And it finally got to the point where I was like, if I don't leave here, I may not be around for much longer. And I was like, my aunt's really sick. I got to go visit my aunt. My family was in California. We were living in Florida. And I just mailed as much of my stuff as I could to myself while he was at work in like flat rate boxes, post office boxes. And then I packed up as much as I could in a couple of suitcases, and I left. And when I got there to California, I called him. I said, I'm not coming back. And he's like, how dare you leave without telling me? Why didn't you tell me you were leaving? And I said, what would you have done if I didn't tell you? What would you have done if I told you I was leaving? He's like, you wouldn't have made it to the front door. I would have knocked your ass out. You would have been laid out on the floor. And I was like, well, maybe that's why I didn't tell you, you know? So this is, I understand, like, sometimes you want to stand up for yourself or you want to tell somebody off, but it might be better to leave quietly. And once you're out of harm's way, then you can say whatever you need to say. But there could be something here of just kind of stepping quietly, being cautious, in exiting a volatile situation. For some of you, that's what the Seven of Swords could mean. The next card that's coming up here for Pisces is the Seven of Wands. Now, this is interesting. Now we have seven repeating, okay? When a number repeats like that in a reading for me, the meaning of that number is being emphasized. It's being, like Spirit is drawing our attention to this number. Seven as an angel number is about following our intuition. Okay, we all have an inner compass, and you might be wondering, or you might be saying to yourself, well, it's time for a change or it's time for a shift, but I'm not sure which direction I should go in. Your intuition is leading you. Your intuition is guiding you. We all have that inner compass. When we stop making fear-based decisions, it's easier to hear it. So seven comes up being emphasized here. Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands. Listen to your intuition. Listen to what your gut is telling you. Your gut knows what you haven't been able to see yet, in terms of like what's around you, or some of you are like, well, I want to see a sign, or I want to see a proof to match what I'm feeling. But our intuition knows. Our intuition knows what hasn't physically shown itself to us yet. So listening to our gut, listening to our intuition. Seven of Wands is also a card that comes up when we're being encouraged to stand our ground. But again, to stand our ground in a way where we're being safe, we're not like engaging in like fighting or arguing or disagreeing. It's not a time to be extra. It's not a time to be fancy. So in an existing relationship, it would just say, listen to your intuition, be yourself. Gosh, I don't like this message, but I have to say it. And again, it's a general reading, so I'm not saying it to be negative. I'm not saying it to put like fearful thinking out there for anybody. but you're going to know if this is true for you, and you're going to know if this resonates for you. Some of you may be trying to leave a relationship or a place where there are people that don't have your best interest at heart. And there could be a dynamic here where this person is kind of keeping tabs on you with other people. And so there might be this thing of like, well, if you wrong me or if you break up with me, there's going to be consequences. Whether the consequences are in terms of your career or your social standing. Sometimes narcissistic people like to make us look bad or spread rumors about us or make us seem like we're the bad guy in a situation. Sometimes it could be like a threat to our reputation. Sadly, sometimes it could even be like a physical threat. Like, oh, you broke up with my cousin, I'm gonna break your legs, or like something ridiculous like that. And so I feel like the Seven of Wands here is saying that it's going to be a good idea to keep peace. And it's going to be a good idea not to engage with other people or tell them what's going on, because they might be trying to get information. They might be trying to help this other person. And so it's just kind of like, you don't need to get into all that with these people. You don't need to explain the situation. You don't need to explain the circumstances, because they're not trying to understand where you're coming from. They're trying to pull you down where they want you. They're trying to get you to do what they want you to do. For some of you, it's the person itself, right? Like, you're like, I got to get out of the situation. And then they're acting like they want to talk it out, but they're not sincere in talking it out. It's just about pulling you down into what they want you to do. They're not really hearing you. It's like, I don't care really what you have to say, right? But I want you to be in this situation. Some of you, this person might be trying to make you look bad if there is some kind of a breakup, if there is some kind of an issue over like custody or kids or something like that. They may be doing things to aggravate you, to upset you, to make you lose your cool, so they can say, aha, see, look, I told you Pisces had a temper, or I told you Pisces was unstable, or I told you Pisces was, not trustworthy, or whatever it might be. So don't take the bait. Some of you are in a situation where somebody's trying to take the bait. The opposite of that could be that they have selfish motives and they may be trying to bait you and get you to give in. They may be doing seductive things or, laying bait to get you to come to them. And the Seven of Wands is saying, stand your ground and be strong. The next card that's coming up here for Pisces is the Four of Swords. And so when the Four of Swords comes up, the Four of Swords comes up for me a lot of the times when emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sometimes even physically, we've been through the ringer. We've been through so much. We're exhausted. And Four of Swords comes in to say that we need to rest. We need to recover. We need to recuperate. This is a time for prayer. This is a time for meditation. This is a time for protecting and guarding our physical space as well. So some of you need to disconnect from what has become a very stressful situation. And some of you are dealing with a person who's flat out making you ill, who's flat out making you sick. And you will know. Again, I don't know why Spirit keeps bringing up my ex-husband, but I remember I'd only been married a few months, and I went and I visited my grandma, and she just took one look at me and she said, and my grandmother was very traditional. Okay, I'm the child of immigrants. Divorce is not something that is accepted at all. Like, you get married, you stay married. And my grandmother was of that mindset, and she took one look at me and she said, you have to leave this man. She goes, you're gonna die. She goes, if you stay with this man, you're gonna die. She's like, you're not well. You're not well. Like, you're allergic to him. You're allergic to this man. And so coming from my grandma, that's like saying a lot. Some of you are in this situation where you're dealing with someone like you're allergic to this person. It's having a physical effect on your health. Okay? And so the Four of Swords is saying you need to disconnect. You need to rest. You need to recuperate. You need to recover. For a lot of you, this person might be bringing up like triggers from the past or triggers from adolescence. And so this is a gift and an opportunity to work through these things. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like a strong peer pressure vibe. Like everybody thinks you're this way, and like they're using reputation, they're using peer pressure, they're using like acceptance into like the group, or acceptance into how things are gonna be. Like, you have to change and you have to conform. You have to do what I'm telling you to do. You have to be who I'm telling you to be. And if you don't, well, then that's why nobody likes you. That's why everybody thinks you're weird. That's why you're going to be miserable forever. I just feel like there's somebody trying to shape you or mold you into something else. And it's getting to the point where it's making you sick. It's getting to the point where it's affecting your health. And the Four of Swords is saying you need to take care of your health. The Four of Swords can also sometimes be like a temporary separation. So maybe some of you are feeling like a sense or a longing for home, or you're feeling like there's somebody else that you're like, I'm gonna end up with that person, or I'm meant to be with that person, or I'm gonna see that person again. And the Four of Swords can come up as like a confirmation for us that some absence is a temporary absence, or some separation is a temporary separation. But I feel that the other separation, like, is that's gonna come together, is like where you're gonna recuperate, where you're gonna recover, whether you're leaning on friends and family, whether it's a relocation, whether it's moving and going to a different place. I feel like a lot of you are manifesting a place where you can heal and you can recover. Some of you might already have an idea of who or where your next relationship is, but you need a moment right now to process what you've been through, to heal, to release, and to just shake this experience off of you. Because these cards are like this is pressure. Like, you're under pressure. And so the Four of Swords is disconnecting from that and giving yourself a chance to heal. I also feel here, because the Four of Swords can sometimes come up a lot of the times with the sense of like prayer and meditation. I feel like this is something that shook your faith. Okay. And again, Spirit keeps taking me back to my ex-husband. That breakup, that relationship had a big catalyst into me getting excommunicated from the Christian denomination church that I was raised in and that I grew up in and that I believed in wholeheartedly. I would have died for that organization. Like, if somebody had, threatened my life and said, you denounce your faith or I'm going to take you out, I would have been like, take me out, right? I was so wholehearted into it. And I believed it with all my heart. But a lot of things happened, and then the organization got involved, the congregation got involved, the church leaders got involved, and it shook my faith, and it not like in a good way. And I was like, God is not here. God is not here. I knew that. God is not here. And so some of you, there could be some kind of an aspect like that in the situation, where it's making you kind of question what you've been taught, the people that have been leading you or guiding you, and you're going to find your connection to God, to higher self, through the healing that you're going to go through leaving an unhealthy situation or an unhealthy relationship. Okay? Some of you could be stuck in a very unhealthy family dynamic that's blocking you from a relationship. And you may be leaving an unhealthy family dynamic. And once you have time to just kind of decompress and release what you've been through, you're manifesting a soulmate, or you're going to be with a specific person, right? It doesn't feel healthy. It doesn't feel safe. But I think you know this, Pisces, and I think you're doing what you can to disconnect from the people and the things that are causing you stress and strain, and making you ill, right? As I like my grandma said, you're allergic to this. And so I think a lot of you are realizing or seeing that it's time to disconnect from it. Your next card here is the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles says it may not be easy, but you're going to get through it if you can focus on one aspect at a time, and if you can try to soothe and comfort your spirit in the process, and to try to focus on the joyful aspects of it. You're going to get through the more difficult parts more quickly. Two of Pentacles is oftentimes typecast in tarot, especially in love readings, as like a third party situation or somebody who's juggling more than one relationship. And I don't feel that's the case here. Like, even if you are in a relationship, your mind and your heart know you need to get out of it. So the Two of Pentacles here, Two of Pentacles traditionally can also be a situation where we feel embarrassed. We're in our head, we feel embarrassed. We think everybody's looking at us a certain kind of way. And so some of you are feeling like you need to leave a situation, but again, there's like this shaming aspect of it. And so what you need to do when the Two of Pentacles comes up is do your best to try to get out of your head and stop worrying so much what other people are going to think, and focus on what needs to be done. What needs to be done for you? What needs to be done for your well-being? What needs to be done for your success? And just focus on that and get outside of your head and stop worrying what everybody else is thinking about it. I saw something one time, it was a meme, but it was like a meme that someone had taken a photo of like something somebody had up in a business, like a daily message, and it was like, just because you've spent a long time making a specific mistake, it doesn't mean you have to keep making it. Okay, we can argue that nothing is a mistake because everything is a learning experience. But just because we've spent a long time in a situation that is not aligned with us or for us, it doesn't mean we have to keep doing it. So I just feel here the Two of Pentacles is you have worries or concerns how people are going to think about you or how people are going to view you when you do this. And I can relate. I've been in that situation. But in this situation, you need to focus on what needs to be done for you. And it might feel really overwhelming. You might be like, this is such a big change. This is such a big shift. You know, how am I going to do it? One step at a time. One aspect at a time. Write down a list what needs to be done and do it one at a time. And stop worrying about what's going on outside of you. Stop worrying about what the other people are saying or doing or what they're thinking. And you need to do what is best for you. Because for a lot of you, this is affecting your health. And that is not okay. You may want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus sign. Some months those might resonate more for you than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you click on the link in the description of this video, it will take you to calendly.com/amethystangelite, and you can schedule a private reading with me there. Weekly forecasts are linked in the description of the video, and every single day I do a daily message here on the channel as well. Hopefully you all can check those out. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you all have a fabulous month. Hopefully we'll see you in the weeklies and dailies. Take care and be well, my dears.